Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship. We are here for round number 6 of the 2021 Formula 1 World Championship here at the legendary Silverstone circuit here for the British Grand Prix. Yes, Formula One is finally back. The circus rolls on to arguably one of the most historic and legendary tracks on the calendar, the Silverstone circuit in the United Kingdom. We are here for 12 minutes of the first stage of qualifying. Luca Farina is the first man out on track. My name is Miran in the commentary booth today, and as we're just about to get underway with the first flying lap of the session, it is time to go through the track. Right, so the Silverstone circuit then, located in England, located near the Northamptonshire villages of Towcester, Silverstone and Whittlebury. The track played host to the first ever Formula One race, the official first ever Formula One World Championship race, I should say, in 1950, because the track was opened in 1948 and hosted what was known as Formula One back then as well. The British Grand Prix has been at this track every single year since 1948, with one break in 1986. I still don't know where they went that year in 1986, but they did not go to Silverstone, that is to say the least. But yeah, to call this track an absolute staple of the Formula One calendar, I say would be an understatement, considering how long it has been on the F1 calendar. You've also got the British Motorcycle Grand Prix for MotoGP, which has been running here since 1977. You also got BTCC, British GT, and something called the Silverstone Classic, which is an annual 3-day car and race event at Silverstone, which has been here since 1990. You've had a plethora of other racing series as well that I will not go through, because that will just take way too much time, considering how many different racing series there have been over the years at this legendary track. Obviously, considering how long it has been as well, there's been so many different iterations of this track, ranging from obviously the first ever layout back in the 1940s and 50s, which was not too different from the original airbase layout that was already present at the track. But this one, which we are running today, has been in place since 2011 and is 5.891 kilometers long, featuring 18 turns and a race lap record of 1:27.0. But as we are having the times coming in on the board, then you can see there's the two Ferraris across the line, one with a 1:34.2 and a 1:34.4 respectively. And this Parachki clocks in the first 1:33 of the session then, as he sets a 1:33.890, and all eyes today will obviously be on the two Mercedes drivers, Ennis Parachki and Jesper Johansson. Obviously, Johansson didn't have the greatest of results at Paul Ricard. Had a lowly qualifying and struggled to make his way through the field. Johansson will be playing catch-up here today at Silverstone, and Parachki will be looking to hold that championship lead ahead of his teammate. You've also got Alfred Klaus in the mix there as well, the Red Bull driver, who failed to finish on the podium, but sits equal in second place with Jesper Johansson at the moment in second place, both 18 points off championship leader Parachki, so things are bound to get quite interesting in the championship here today. Jesper Johansson then, as we're just looking at the man, he is 15th at the moment in qualies, facing a bit of traffic from the Haas just up ahead. So we have the first few times on the board as well, and this Parachki currently fastest, with your bottom five being Daniel Fraser, followed by Alexander Arnold, Luca Farina, Franco Gamba and Victor Albom. So Franco Gamba not getting off to the greatest of starts then, as he's facing a bit of traffic as well. He's got the Alfa Romeo up ahead and a very, very angry Red Bull, it seems, behind. So Gamba's going to try to do his best to get himself out of the situation, but yeah, at the moment it isn't really doing his lap times justice, I would say. As he's just rounding the final couple of corners, Alex Broster sets an improvement that goes up into 9th. Great stuff from Alex Broster so far then. Eric Aldenberg in 6th as well. Gamba goes across the line. Manages an improvement, but only goes up 1 position. Not enough for the Italian just yet to get himself out of the drop. As Gamba now holding off. That's Alfred Klaus, the number 49, who he is fighting with. Klaus spots the opportunity to go to the inside line of the Alpine driver, and they will be wheel to wheel heading down the Wellington Straight. Is Klaus going to be able to try something into Brooklands? Not quite. And Gamba remains ahead, and Alfred Klaus will not be too happy about that, even though it is only Q1. So Lewis McIntyre goes across the line. Up into 7th goes the Brit in his home race today. And obviously all eyes will also be on the 3 Brits in the midfield, all having their home races today. Lewis McIntyre, Alex Broster, and Daniel Fraser. Daniel Fraser, I think the best way for him to shine today would be to try and get himself out of Q2, but have struggled a lot in qualifying, so we'll see if that is actually going to happen. Fernando Tosta in P13. He's going to round the final corner and go across the line. He improves, but isn't able to get himself ahead of Kai Cherezhnia. Eric Adelberg improves, though, and the Formula 2 champion, who obviously won around here back in his F2 days, is going to be in 4th. Johansson then still in P15 at the moment. He is safe. Yeah, I don't think it will be a good showing from the 2-time world champion to finish P15. To qualify P15 in Q1. Obviously, he would not want a repeat of his qualifying performance at Paul Ricard. So we're looking at Alex Arnold then. In P14 at the moment, so both Williams drivers currently safe then. And into Q2, Broster in 10th and Arnold in 14th. So well done from the 2 Williams drivers so far. So we have about 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock as we just witnessed Jesper Johansson making his way through Maggots and Beckett's and then out of Chapel. 7-10 off on his teammate Ennis Parachki. It's looking a bit dire for Johansson at the moment as Will Parrish goes across the line and the Alpha Tauri man goes up into P7. Johansson then now through the Vale chicane, and he's only got Club left, and he's going to be hoping for an improvement here as Franco Gamba finally gets an improvement in. What about Jesper Johansson? And it is P10 for Jesper Johansson. Not the greatest of laps, but it will do for the world champion. And now this pushes Wojtek Kulasek down into the elimination zone. Oh! As we just see Alfred Klaus on our screens. And the Swede in the Red Bull has gone off the track. He makes his way back onto the track in a swift manner. But let's see what happened here. And just spins out, making contact with the Alpine. It's number 8. I think that is Franco Gamba, isn't it? Daniel Wale goes across the line, and the Chinese driver gets himself into a brilliant P4 then with a 1:34.441. 14 positions ahead of his teammate on track at the moment, as Luca Farina is actually confirmed to be knocked out in Q1 here. Daniel Wale impressing them here in Q1. Less than a minute left on the clock then. Wojtek Kulasek is the next man across the line. Let's see if he's going to be able to make 2 Alpine cars in Q2. He does it for now then, as that is going to be P13 then for Wojtek Kulasek, and that pushes Fernando Tost into the elimination zone, and as a result, one Aston Martin will not make it through into Q2 here at Silverstone. Eric Adelberg goes across the line, the Swiss man, up into P4 then, as Alexander Arnold will be wanting to make it both Williams cars into Q2 here at Silverstone. Arnold rounds Maggots and Beckett. Absolutely breathtaking to see these Formula 1 cars tackle the high-speed corners of Maggots and Beckett. Arnold then could be on an improvement here then, but he's just going to have to hope that he's able to do Sector 3 well. This is obviously considering that he's actually going to finish the lap. And unfortunately not for Alexander Arnold. He comes into the pit lane and he is out of Q1. Checker flag waving and out then. Laban Zasniczky goes across the line. P2. That is going to be for Laban Zasniczky here in Q1. Good lap from the Serbian. Next across then should be Wojtek Kulasek, the man from the Czech Republic, as he heads down into the Vale chicane then in P13. So he is safe into Q2. But we'll see if he's still going to be able to manage an improvement then as he rounds the final corner. Across the line for Wojtek Kulasek, and he gets himself up one more position. Eric Adelberg comes into the pit lane, so does Tomas Mandic and his Parachki. And then in the timing sheets, will he be able to improve on his lap then? So he will go across the line. It's no improvement for Enes Parachki. What about Victor Album then in dead last? Can he lift himself up a position or two? No! Album does improve, but unfortunately for the Dane, he is going to stay in last. I think that should be it. You've got Laban Zasniczky making his way round Stowe Corner. And he pours into the pit lane. So he's not going to finish up the lap he was on. And I think that should be everyone finishing up their laps. I'm not sure. We're just waiting for the confirmation. There it is then. That's Q1 done and dusted. Enes Parachki is your fastest man. And your bottom five is Fernando Tost, Alexander Arnold, Luca Farina, Daniel Fraser, and Victor Albom. So the main things I suppose to take away from that then, I think would be the pace of the Aston Martins. They're not looking too good here at Silverstone, and Kai Cherezhnia just barely made it out of Q1, and Fernando Tost, who has been the better of the two Aston Martin drivers in this season so far, has made it or has been knocked out here in Q1. Alexander Arnold as well, I think, will be feeling a bit frustrated that he couldn't join his teammate Alex Broster in Q2, which is quite a shame for Arnold, but we'll see what the race is going to hold for him. Same goes for Luca Farina, I do suppose, after Daniel Wallace's very, very good Q1 appearance. Farina will not be feeling too happy about that qualifying effort. And obviously now that there only is one Aston Martin in Q2, all eyes will be on Kai Cherezhnia to deliver a good performance, considering he has gone pointless in these first 5 races of the season, which is looking quite alarming for Kai Cherezhnia, considering where his teammate Fernando Tost is at the moment in the championship. It has been a one-man team so far in these first 5 races of the season. And, yeah, Cherezhnia will be expected to play his part in these later stages of the season. So we are here for Q2 then. Erik Adelberg, first man out in his Alpha Tauri. It's safe to say it's been an alright start for Alpha Tauri so far, 7th in the championship. Both of their drivers only separated by 3 points from each other, with Will Parrish being the man in the lead. P12 in the championship, with Erik Adelberg 13th, just behind his teammate. As I did previously mention, Adelberg, who obviously has won at this track back in Formula 2 in that record-breaking season of his last season, and now is going to start his lap of the Silverstone circuit here in Q2 as he just goes across the start-finish line to start the lap, then through the fast right-hander of turns 1 and 2, Abbey, and then Farman into the first proper braking zone of Village, then through the right-hander you go as you set yourself up immediately for the 2 left-handers of the loop, and then Aintree. You want to try and get the best exit possible here, use all the curb on the exit as you make your way down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands and then Luffield. We see so many battles here during the races. So you head through Brooklands, the left of Brooklands, and then the right of Luffield, trying to stay on that inside curb. Really easy to run wide there on the exit. We've seen it so many times in races as you make your way through Woodcut and down the paddock start-finish straight onto Copse Corner. You can see just shifting down to 6th there. Super fast corners. You head down to arguably the most fearsome corners on this track, Maggots and Beckett's. And it just really speaks for itself as you see Adelberg wrestling the car through those corners. It's such a challenge for the driver and the car when it comes to G-forces. Just tests everything on the car. Then as you make your way down the hangar straight into Stowe, the right hand, they're really easy to run wide here, and you want to make sure you don't do that, otherwise you can have your lap invalidated. Then into the Vale chicane, tight chicane, then using all the track available to you as you make your way around Club, the final corner, and then across the line for what is going to be a 1:34.221, the first lap time of the session. And it is immediately topped by the Red Bull, the senior Red Bull car of Dennis Graf, a 1:33.855 for the champion. Broster and McIntyre across the line. Klaus goes faster than his teammate then. Franco Gamba across the line, 3rd that is. And he's only a 10th off Dennis Graf, so very good lap from Franco Gamba then. Graf and Gamba split apart by the Ferrari of Lamaz Nishkai then. As the Serbian goes up into 3rd. There is Kai Cherezhny across the line. P6 it is. Just unable to get himself into the 1:33s. Daniel Walla across the line for a very good lap then. A 1:33.747. And he goes even ahead of Dennis Graf in that little Alfa Romeo. Great stuff from Daniel Walla so far in qualifying. Will Parrish across the line. Jesper Johansson now goes fastest. 3/10 faster than Alfred Klaus. My word. That is a very good lap from Jesper Johansson, but we'll just have to wait and see what his teammate Enes Parashki will have in store. Dennis Graf then goes ahead of Daniel Walla, pushes the Chinese man down to 4th. There's Tomas Mandic in 12th. He's facing the drop, and Enes Parashki. Oh dear. That is P14 for Enes Parashki, and he's not had the greatest of opening laps then. Lewis McIntyre across the line, gets himself out of the bottom 5 and up into P5 he goes. Alex Broster into P10. That puts Kai Cherezhny down to the elimination zone. And yeah, your bottom 5 will now be Kai Cherezhny, followed by Parrish, Mandic, Adelberg and Parachki. I think Enes Parachki will only be temporary though, as we'll just have to wait and see if Enes is going to be able to get himself out of the elimination zone. Mandic as well. He's had a bit of a shabby qualifying record in these last few races. Obviously has struggled to match his teammates as Nishka in terms of qualifying and race pace on a few occasions as well. So yeah, Thomas will be hoping for a Q3 appearance here at Silverstone. See now around Stowe corner down into the Vale chicane. Let's see what Mandic is going to be able to do. He's going to have to hope to lift himself out of the bottom 5 with this lap time as he goes across the line. Improves, but it is only P13. What about Enis Parachki? Improves, but he stays in last. And this is not looking good for Enis Parachki. Gets himself a bit closer to Erik Adelberg in 14th. But the championship leader is looking to be a bit at risk here. Last race it was Jesper Johansson. The race before was Alfred Klaus. Could it be Enis Parachki here today at Silverstone? It's not what he's going to need, but he's just going to have to hope that he's able to make it through into Q3. Here is Will Parrish then, just behind him. Jesper Johansson currently sits at the top of the timing sheets. And Parrish is going to face Johansson trying to punch his way through. Johansson knocks the bollard off, and oh dear, there's been an accident, and Johansson has gone off the track and into the gravel. And that is not how you want your qualifying to go. Mercedes, with their head in their hands, Enis Parachki, P15, and Johansson's just made contact with Parrish. And that's a pretty major off for Jesper Johansson as well. He's in the gravel, and then the question will be if he'll be able to get that car rolling again. Obviously, he is safe and through into Q3, and immediately that Mercedes has been wheeled back into the pit lane. But yeah, bit of drama then here in quali. I think it is a very bittersweet feeling for Mercedes right now. Johansson out of Q2 then, or well, he won't be able to get any more running, I mean. But Parachki could potentially be facing the drop, and the Macedonian, this is definitely not what he will be needing, especially considering he is in the fight with his teammate here. And both of the Mercedes are fighting Red Bull for the constructors here today, considering Red Bull are only 30 points behind, and one bad result could see Red Bull inching closer to the Silver Arrows. As Parachki makes his way through Maggots and Beckett's. What is his second sector time going to be? 5/10 off. This could be the improvement that Enis Parachki needs to get himself into Q3, and he's just going to have to hope for a good third sector here then, as he rounds Stowe corner, and he's going to head into the Vale chicane. Parachki will be needing an improvement here to get himself into the top 10 as he now rounds Club. The final corner. Is Parachki going to make it into Q3 here as it goes across the line? No! And then is Parachki, with a second to go, is out of Q2 here. He will not make it into Q3, and we are going to have a Mercedes knocked out. Last race, it was Jesper Johansson. Now, it is his teammate, Enis Parachki, and this is disaster for Mercedes once again in qualifying, as there is Wojtek Kulasek making it into Q3 as well, or making it up into 4th. Kai Dresden goes across the line and is out of Q2 as well. What about Alex Broster? Is he going to be able to make it into Q3 then? We could maybe have a Williams start. We're going to have a Williams starting on the second row as a Mercedes here today. As Broster is going to go around the final corner. He's going to get it across the line, but does not improve. Chereshnia is in. And this is turning dire for Mercedes here today. Daniel Walle is going to get a Q3 appearance for, I believe, the first time this season, as he is P5. Dennis Groff goes across the line. Any more across the line? Mandic then in 15th will be knocked out as well. Ferrari will only have one car in Q3, and Mercedes will be knocked out. Oh, Parachki is on a lap here, actually. He's going to finish it, and I think he just makes it in. Yeah, Parachki actually did make it in. There was just a second on the clock when he crossed the line. So, yeah, Parachki, I think, has maybe got himself back into this. That is unless Alex Broster is able to improve, and we will be watching the Williams driver's lap. Oh, apparently not. It is over, and Jesper Johansson is your fastest man. Your bottom 5 is Franco Gamba, Alex Broster, Kai Chereshnia, Will Parrish, and Thomas Mandic. And Enes Parachi then just making it in by the skin of his teeth there into Q3. He got very, very lucky there indeed that he just crossed the line with a second to go. I thought he was out there. But yeah, he was lucky to get another lap in then. Thomas Mandic knocked down in qualifying. Once again, a difficult showing in qualifying for Mandic, and Chereshny as well, not able to make it into Q3. He will be wanting to secure points here today. Otherwise, he could be in a bit of trouble. As we're now here for Q3, the fight for pole begins. And to maybe Jesper Johansson's dismay, his teammate is back and kicking. Erik Adelberg once again, the first man out here in qualifying. He is eager to get going, and I have to say, Erik Adelberg in his debut Formula 1 season has not been doing too bad so far. And I have to say, what a junior career he's had as well in the other series. Debuted back in DTM in 2018. Took one race win and a podium to finish third in DTM that season. Was even in the title fight, but unfortunately, obviously could not win it. But yeah, finished third in DTM back in 2018, and that earned him a promotion to Tier 3, which was Formula E. Did very, very well for himself in FE as well. Took a whole 2 wins in Formula E. Was in the title fight again, but just ended up short. P6 it was in Formula E that season, but that was a properly stacked championship fight as well. So, yeah, it was a chaotic year in that title fight. You had big names competing. You had very, very big names competing for the championship that season. You had Ari Soylund, Tobias Schwulenberg, Abrad Chowdhury, Giulia Cesetti, and everyone else in between there as well, securing race wins and podiums and whatnot. So, yeah, it was a crazy season, but it earned Erik Adelberg a promotion into Formula 2 last season, and we all know the rest. 4 wins in one season, wins the championship by 45 points, breaks all types of records in that F2 season, and now he is here with AlphaTauri in Formula 1, and safe to say, it's not been going too bad for Erik Adelberg in these first few races of the season. as he's on a flying lap here then, heading through Maggots and Beckett. Into 8th gear then as he heads down the hanger straight into Stowe. And then into the Vale chicane there, through the left and into the right, and then through the final corner of Club, and he's just gonna come across the line then for this lap, a 1:33.913. Looks to be a solid lap from Erik Adelberg. Dennis Groff immediately goes faster by 0.8 of a second. Wojtek Kulasek slots in between the two then in his blue and red Alpine. There's Jesper Johansson across the line. Can't go faster than Dennis Groff just yet. And he sits a 10th off his rival. That is not good news for Jesper Johansson, but now we will be awaiting Erik Adelberg. McIntyre across the line then. P3 it is for him at the moment. Daniel Wale ahead of Kulasek and Adelberg. Daniel Wale, I have to say, is pulling off an incredible performance here today. McIntyre then as Zasnishkai now goes fastest, but Enes Parachki quickly steals away the spotlight from Lama Zasnishkai with a 1:33.0, and he takes the fastest spot then. Provisional pole for the Macedonian after what seemed to be an almost catastrophic Q2. Enes gets his priority straight and goes up into Q3. Or not Q3, I mean, what am I saying? Provisional pole here in Q3. That's what I meant to say. Josef Frederik Schuto second. What a lap from Josef Frederik Schuto. 1:33.128 for the Slovakian man. And that gets him onto the front row provisionally with 2.5 minutes to go then. And at the moment it's not looking too good for the likes of Klaus and Johansson here. Alfred Klaus P5 and Jesper Johansson P6. It's been 2 poles in a row for Red Bull at the moment so far, and Enes Parachki could just break it up here. Lewis McIntyre up into 7th, then in the McLaren. His teammate currently sits in 2nd. We just have to wait and see what's going to happen here then as Dennis Groff then goes through Maggots and Beckett. Through the right and into the left of Chapel then. Groff will be needing an improvement to challenge Enes Parachki here. So will Jesper Johansson and Alfred Klaus as well. Klaus making his way round Stowe then into Vale. And he will be needing an improvement here to at least get himself onto the 2nd or even the 1st row. As he rounds the final corner, what will it be for Alfred Klaus then as he goes across the line? No positions gained for Alfred Klaus. Neither is it for Dennis Groff. Josef Frederik Schuto though goes fastest in the McLaren, 1:32.999, and he does it. Wow, my goodness. And that comes out of absolutely nowhere. Jesper Johansson can't improve. We've got under a minute to go, and Enes Parachki has been toppled by none other than a McLaren here at Silverstone. Now this is gonna get exciting, ladies and gentlemen. 40 seconds to go. Enes Parachki versus Josef Frederik Schuto in the McLaren. Who could have anticipated this? What a lap from Josef Frederik Schuto. This could be an incredible performance from Schuto. And Parachki, he's in. He comes into the pit lane. Parachki will not be improving on that lap. And it is looking all the more likely for Schuto to secure McLaren's first ever pole position in the ACOC. And I believe if I am not mistaken, a pole position from a team outside the big three for the first time in the ACOC. The checker flag is out, and we will be waiting on who is going to be able to take pole here then. It's going to be Red Bull, it could be Mercedes, it could be McLaren, it could even be Ferrari here today as Dennis Grafak goes across the line, improves, but he stays in fourth, unfortunately for him. Next across the line, Wojtek Kulasek doesn't improve. Klaus comes in there. What about Jesper Johansson? He'll at least be hoping to get it up there with his teammate then with this lap time, as he is going to go across the line. No improvement for Jesper Johansson, and he will be starting 6th here at Silverstone. Once again, a bit of a blunder from Johansson here in qualifying, and he starts behind his teammate once again then. Daniel Walle is going to go across the line. Improvement from Daniel Walle. He goes up into 8th. Lewis McIntyre in 7th. And the final man to potentially challenge Josef Frederik Schutter for pole position, Laban Sasnishkai in the Ferrari, could do it here. Sasnishkai then is going to round Vale. And he's only got 1 corner to go. Is Sasnishkai gonna be able to challenge Josef Frederik Schutter for pole position? He's gonna go across the line, doesn't improve, and I think that is going to be it. Unless there's anyone else on a flyer at the moment, I think it might be the glories for this man, Josef Frederik Schutter. We're just waiting for it then. Schutter comes into the pit lane. No need to improve from the McLaren driver. And we're just waiting for it. And there it is. And it is going to be his and his team's first pole position. Josef Frederik Schutter takes pole for McLaren here at Silverstone. And my word, what a qualifying we have just witnessed. And we have a lot to digest, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? It is a McLaren on pole position. Josef Frederik Schutter will be starting P1 here at Silverstone. McLaren in their home race, and Josef Frederik Schutter in all of his years in Formula 1 can finally witness how it is to start first out of everyone in a race. That is going to be simply incredible. What a qualifying lap from Schutter as well. 132.9, something that not even Enis Parvachki could achieve. I think he's taken everyone by storm here. And, well, this is going to be interesting then. Indeed. McLaren secure their first ever pole position in the ACOC. Josef Frederik Schutter as well takes his first ever pole. And if I am not mistaken, this is the first ever time we've had someone outside the big 3 teams take pole position. So this is, I have to say, a historic moment in the ACOC. As Schutter will be on pole with Parachki lining up on the long side. I can't believe I'm saying that. Imagine if he would have told us that a season or 2 ago. But yeah, I have to say, this is redemption for Josef Frederik Schutter. All those seasons he's had to spend with uncompetitive machinery, all those seasons he's had to go through, it finally culminates for the Slovakian driver, and he's finally able to put that talent to good work and just push for great results and achieve great things. But obviously, points are acquired here in the race, and here's the race where it's going to matter, and here is how everyone is going to line up for the race then. So it is Josef Frederik Schutter on pole position for McLaren. I still can't believe I'm saying that. Schuto takes pole from McLaren here at Silverstone, and lining up alongside him on the front row is a former McLaren driver and now obviously defending world champion Enis Parachki for Mercedes. Laban Zasnishkai starts third for Ferrari, a brilliant qualifying for Laban as well. And Dennis Groff accompanies him on the second row, P4. Alfred Klaus starts in P5 with Jesper Johansson alongside him in P6. Both of them are going to have a lot to do today if they want to match Parachki here in the race. Lewis McIntyre then obviously will have watched in awe as his teammate took pole. He starts in 7th with Daniel Wale, a brilliant qualifying effort from Wale today. He starts in 8th for Alfa Romeo. Wojtek Kulasek lines up P9 with Eric Adelberg rounding out the top 10. Franco Gamba finishes P11, or finishes, no, we're not there yet. Starts P11 with Alex Broster in P12. Kai Chereshnia is 13th with Will Parrish lining up in 14th. Thomas Mandic is a lowly 15th. Let's see what the Ferrari man's going to be able to do today then. It's Fernando Tost is P16. A quite disappointing qualifying from Aston Martin today. We'll see what they will be able to do in the race. Alexander Arnold starts in 17th with Luca Farina in P18. And rounding off the grid is the two Haas drivers, Daniel Fraser and Victor Album. Right then, let's get racing as the lights are coming on. 30 laps of action around the Silverstone circuit. Josef Frederick Schuto on pole position. And we're underway here at Silverstone. Looked to be a good getaway for Schuto, actually. I think he's got a marginally better start than Parachki to turn 1 as there's been an accident. Zasnishka is off, and the Ferrari man, I think, has just squandered it. I think he lost it into turn 1, and Laban Zasnishka goes all the way down to last. Jesper Johansson is up into the podium places as there's a crash, and Dennis Groff tangles with Lewis McIntyre, and it's gone all wrong for the German there, and I think he might just be out. Red flag, and we're gonna have a red flag. Hectic start, but yeah, that's gonna be good news for the likes of Laban Zasnishka and Dennis Groff, as they'll get a second chance at it, but also for Enis Parachki, as he will get another shot at trying to get Josef Frederick Schuto. As we're gonna get underway then. Once again, the lights coming on. 6 lights. And we're underway. Better getaway for Enis Parachki this time. Is he going to be able to go up and alongside Josef Frederick Schuto into turn number 1? No, he isn't just yet. As we head into turn number 1, out of turn number 1, that's Daniel Wale, and he's off. He's crashed, and it's a horrible start for Daniel Wale, and I think he might just be out. He had a great qualifying effort, but he is out. Laban Zasnishka is now up at the second for Ferrari, and Josef Frederick Schuto leads for McLaren here at Silverstone. Daniel Wale out there after a brilliant qualifying effort. McIntyre and Jesper Johansson now fighting each other for P6. This is not the start that Johansson was hoping for in this race, as he's going to run wide. He was very wide indeed, and Kulasek slips past the world champion, and it is an absolutely dismal start as now Eric Adelberg is pressuring the Mercedes man into cups. They go side by side. Adelberg on the inside. Johansson just holds him off, I do think, as it is turning out to be an absolute dismal start as Adelberg runs a bit wide. Alex Broster tries to make the best of it. Will Parrish holds off Thomas Mandic then, as Mandic tries to get past the Alpha Tauri driver and the fellow Formula 2 champion Kai Chereshnia then making his way up into 11th. He's going to try to go down the inside line of Alex Broster, then into Stowe. The two go wheel to wheel as there is a bit of contact there, and Chereshnia will have to back out of the move there as he will stay in P11 then. On to lap 2 out of 30. Josef Frederick Schuto leads the British Grand Prix from Laban Zasnishka in second, and then Enis Parachki in third. Zasnishka got a great start there, and he's already pressuring Josef Frederick Schuto for the race lead. Who would have imagined this? Ferrari versus McLaren here at Silverstone today. And we'll just have to wait and see then, as Zasnishkai trying to find his way past Shuto, trying to go for the race lead, trying to get that win for Ferrari. And Shuto is going to try to get McLaren's first ever race win in the ACOC. There is glory at stake here. Here at Silverstone. So here is Alfred Klaus as well, pressuring Dennis Graf. Jesper Johansson struggling then, it seems like, as Klaus chases down Dennis Graf through maggots, trying to close in as much as possible. No DRS just yet for Alfred Klaus. He's going to have to stay behind. Wojtek Kulasek, though, seems to have gotten a good run on Lewis McIntyre. He's going to go to the inside line of Lewis McIntyre. Is he going to be able to make a move here? Not quite. And he has to stay behind McIntyre just for the time being. But no, he's going to try to Vale once again. He's going to go to the inside line, but he jumps over the curb. And as a result, has to stay behind. And that brings Jesper Johansson into the fray. This is going to get interesting then as we now approach lap 3. DRS will be enabled. And Enis Parachki sets the fastest lap of the race. He is now involved in this fight for the race lead. This is going to get interesting. Wojtek Kulasek having a look on the outside line through Village. Is he going to be able to try something into the loop or possibly even entry? Not quite. Kulasek having to stay behind, and he just has to be patient. He's going to get the DRS, I believe. Is he going to get the DRS? No, he isn't. So I do think we might have to wait another lap for it. But Josef Frederik Schuto still holds the lead over Laban Zasnishkai then. As here is Alfred Klaus then, and yeah, it is no DRS on the first straight then, but on the second DRS zone we will be getting DRS, so Klaus will be able to fight Dennis Graf here for 4th. As he's going to have the DRS, is he going to be able to go up alongside Dennis Graf into Stone? Not quite. He's going to have to stay behind. Wojtek Kulasek is going to go for it though. On to Lewis McIntyre, the two side by side. That is McIntyre is there on the outside line. I think that's Graf and Klaus maybe going at it as well. It's Kulasek and McIntyre wheel to wheel, but yeah, McIntyre jumps over the curb and Wojtek Kulasek gets up into P6. Great stuff from Kulasek as Cherezhnia gets both Gamba and Broster, but Gamba goes very, very wide. And on exit, or on re-entry, shall I say, Gamba makes contact, and the Italian is out of the Grand Prix. Oh dear, huge accident, and that's Fernando Tost and Tomas Mandic all off into turn number 1. What has happened there? And we're gonna see this again. Franco Gamba out, and so is Fernando Tost and Tomas Mandic. Big accident there, and you can see up ahead you had, I think that was Arnold and Parrish fighting each other. Then you have Tost, he goes for it on the outside line. Gamba also has someone there wheel to wheel with him. Gamba goes for it, tries to go for the inside line, but the curb just catches him out, and on re-entry tries to enter way too quickly, and then Arnold, he makes contact with him. This is Fernando Tost into turn number 1, and just that is on him. That is definitely on Fernando Tost. Takes too much curb, loses it, goes wide, and just understeers into Mandic. Nothing Tomas Mandic could have done there, which is a shame for him. But yeah, now Fernando Tost is out, and Mandic will be crawling his way to get back onto the racing track, and he does so, but in dead last, unfortunately for him. As Laban Zasnishkai is now set the fast lap of the race. The Serbian wants the win here today. And you got Enis Parashki so close as well. It is a really ridiculously close three-way battle here for the race lead, as Zasnishkai is just trying to get as close as possible. He's going to have the DRS out of Chapel, so he just needs to focus on getting the slipstream here. He's going to have the DRS. Is he going to be able to punch his way past then into Stowe? Will he be able to go up alongside? No, not yet. Zasnishkai staying behind then. Here's Jesper Johansson. He's going to try to go into Lewis McIntyre, but just isn't able to just yet. And struggles for Jesper Johansson once again. He's having a horrible mid-season slump at the moment as Wojtek Kulasek has now set the fastest lap of the race in P6. So Kulasek with great performance at the moment. Going back to the battle for the top 3. As Laban Zasnishkai then in the DRS. Is he going to be able to do something here? No. But he gets very, very close to Josef Frederik Schuto. And the stakes are on here. Schuto, the remaining cool as ice. Holding off Laban Zasnishkai. Both chasing their first wins. Ferrari could be on for their first wins since 2019. And McLaren could be on for their first win ever in the ACOC. The tension is building here, and Enes Parachki obviously will be chasing his, I don't even know how many wins he has now, but yeah, it is a very, very important three-way battle. And now you've also got the 2 Red Bulls joining the party, so they might try and throw a spanner in the works. Laban Zasnishkai is going to go to the inside line of Schuto. He thought about it, but wasn't able to do something here. Here's Dennis Groff, though, onto Enes Parachki. He's going to try to get the Mercedes off the podium. Parachki jumps over the curb. I think there was contact there, but Groff swoops through up into P3 as Klaus is going to try to go onto, but he's gone over the curb, and that's going to lose massive amounts of time with Alfred Klaus. As Kai Cherezhnia now gets past Eric Altenberg. Will Parrish is going to try to get past Alexander Arnold, and Parrish jumps over the curb. I think that could be damage. That is well enough damage for Will Parrish. He tries to put the squeeze on him. Contact between the two. That was naughty from Will Parrish, but they are still wheel to wheel. Daniel Fraser is going to try to go up alongside him as Arnold and Parrish make contact, and Arnold facing the wrong way round then. Fraser's going to try to push him out of the way here. Farina tries to fight his way past as well. And it's gone all wrong for Alexander Arnold. But I have to say, that was a bit of dirty driving from Will Parrish. He was doing some very, very sloppy defensive work and just didn't work out for him at all. As we go back to the fight for the race lead then. Laban Zasnishkai. Chasing down Josef Frederik Schuto, and now Dennis Groff is in the fight for the race lead here. And Zasnishkai is gaining, and he is gaining, but he just isn't able to find the advantages. Here's Jesper Johansson sailing his way past Lewis McIntyre down the hanger straight, and Johansson gets one more position for himself. Here's Dennis Groff then. He tried it on Laban Zasnishkai as Groff and Parachki are going to go side by side through club. This can end well, and it hasn't. And Parachki and Groff make contact, and is that Dennis Groff out? I think it might just be. Is he maybe trying to let the other cars by? I think he might, but he has parked it on the side of the road. And yeah, he's going to re-enter now. Ooh, watch out for Victor Album there. But Dennis Groff making contact with Enes Parachki. I think that was on Enes. I'm not sure, but I think that was on Enes Parachki. And I think the stewards might have to start discussing about penalties. I'm not sure. But, yeah, either way, we'll have to get somewhat of an investigation on it. I'm not sure. And yeah, official verdict from the stewards. All incidents will be investigated after the race. So we'll just see what is going to happen then. So we're now having Eric Aldenberg chasing down Kai Cherezhnia for what is 8th now. Cherezhnia in 8th. Talked about how this race was important for him to score points. And at the moment, he is delivering. looking at the battle for fourth then. Alfred Klaus will try and get a bit of redemption for Dennis Groff against Dennis Parachki. And we'll see what is going to happen then. If Klaus is going to be able to knock Parachki off the podium. Because I think Ennis has damage. I think there is damage to that Mercedes because he isn't able to catch Josef Frederik Schuto and Laban Zasnishkai. So, yeah, Ennis at the moment, I think, has just ruined it for himself a bit. As Klaus then heads through Woodcut and into Copse, chasing down Ernst Parachki. He's going to want to secure a podium here as well, especially to get ahead of the likes of Jesper Johansson in the championship here today, as they now round Maggots and Beckett. You got Wojtek Kulasek in this fight as well for the podium, but now you can see that they are starting to split apart a bit here. So we're now looking at the battle as well for the last step of the, or not the last step, but the first of the points paying positions between Will Parrish and Alex Broster. Broster in his home race will be wanting to hold on, will be wanting to hold off the American, but Parrish will be wanting that point for himself as he tries to go into the inside line of Broster, but isn't able to do anything just yet. He's gonna go wheel to wheel though with him through the Vale chicane. Broster goes over the curb, and there's not much he can do then as Parrish goes through into P10. Nice stuff from Will Parrish. Looking a bit further up the field once again, back to the battle for P3 as Alfred Klaus is chasing down Ennis Parachki now. And he's gonna need to be quick to get past Ennis. Otherwise, he won't be able to fight the likes of Zasnishka and Shuto for the top two. Klaus getting very, very close. Gaining a lot through Parachki. Obviously Parachki with damage going over the curve. There's got to be some floor damage on that Mercedes, so I think he's gonna have a little bit less downforce, and that's gonna be where Klaus gains the most. And with the help of the DRS as well, it's gonna allow him to try and close up as much as he can on Parachki. So we now look a bit further down the field. Luca Farina chasing down Victor Albom for 13th. As Farina is going to have to do this. He's even doing it without the DRS here, as he's going to go wheel to wheel with Victor Albom through Stowe on the inside line. They will go Luca Farina, and heading into the Vale chicane. It's going to be Albom on the inside line, but it's no match for Luca Farina, and the Italian gets through into P13. Good stuff from Luca Farina, and he is now up into 13th. Alfred Klaus still pressuring Ennis Parachki. Look how close he gets through Brooklands. But yeah, at the moment we'll have to stay behind. As Klaus now heads through Copse. DRS is where he gains the most, obviously, but he gains a lot, especially through these corners as well, considering he's got the downforce advantage. But obviously as well, it is difficult to follow each other in all this dirty air, so Klaus will have to stay behind. As he's now going to be in the DRS, though, this could present an opportunity for the Swede to try and get up into P3. But through Stowe, nothing happens just yet. But you can just sense how close he is. He really wants that position, but just isn't able to. And you can imagine his frustration as well, as we're now entering lap 11 out of 30, and Josef Frederick Schuto now leads by 1.4 seconds, 1.5 even, from Laban Zasnishka. So Schuto is pulling away, and that is good news for McLaren, as Zasnishka is struggling to keep up with the Slovakian man. Klaus then heading down the Wellington Straight. Here's Dennis Groff then. He's going to try and claw his way back up the order, as he is now chasing down Alex Broster for P11. And Broster, I don't think there's going to be much he is going to be able to do to try and hold off Dennis Groff, as we look back up the field to the other Red Bull, who is still in contention. Klaus chasing down Parachki. And you can just see how close he is getting through maggots. Just chasing him down through these corners, trying to get as close as humanly possible. The gap is 0.3 of a second now. Surely this should be it for Alfred Klaus, as he is getting close. Is he gonna go up alongside Enis Parachki? No, he just almost gets a wheel aligned with his back wheel, but isn't able to do it. There was Wojtek Kurasek in the background, who was trying something there, but he wasn't able to do it. Here is Dennis Groff then. He's going to try and get past Alex Broster, as the two go wheel to wheel. Broster on the outside line actually gives Groff a run for his money here, as we head into the Vale chicane. Broster on the inside line isn't able to hold on for long though, and Dennis Groff goes up into P11. Groff up into 11th, and next up is Will Parrish, but he is a decent bit up the road, about 2.3 seconds. So yeah, he is gonna have to play catch up here. Alfred Klaus inching closer and closer to Enis Parashki. You can almost sense the move coming in these following laps. Gap is 0.3 of a second then, as we head down the paddock start finish straight. Wojtek Kulasek, props to the man in the Alpine. You have to really give it to him. He's been able to stick with these two guys throughout this battle. He's even on that last lap, he actually tried to move on Alfred Klaus. I don't know if you guys saw that, but yeah, Kulasek, props to him. As we now head through Beckett and then through Chapel. 0.3 of a second is the gap. Klaus seems to get a good exit, and paired with the DRS, he's gonna go to the inside of Enis Parachki, and now I think he's gonna get up and alongside, and there's contact, and Klaus spins out, and that is disastrous for Alfred Klaus. The Red Bull driver spins out, making contact with Enis Parachki, and it is absolute calamity for Red Bull right now. None of their drivers will be scoring points, and Klaus is out of the British Grand Prix. Groff nicks 1 point for Red Bull now, but it is dire for Red Bull. Mercedes will be licking their lips here at Silverstone. Red Bull come home empty-handed here at Silverstone. And that is absolutely massive. And now then, it is going to be Enis Parachki holding on to his third, but it could be this man, Wojtek Kulasek, who could try and properly pressure Enis Parachki for third now. I cannot believe it, but the reality of Shuto, Zasnishka and Kulasek on the podium is not too unrealistic of a reality right now, as Wojtek Kulasek will now be putting the pressure on Enis Parachki. As we head out of Chapel, Kulasek, this will arguably be the most important race of his life, as he is now pressuring Enis Parachki for third. I never thought I'd be saying this race. What an upside down race we're having so far. But yeah, this is proving to be a race of attrition, ladies and gentlemen. Dennis Groff, at the expense of his teammate Alfred Klaus, will be at 1 point. He could get a second one here, as he is chasing down Will Parrish. But Wojtek Kulasek then will be piling on the pressure. He could have to worry about Jesper Johansson there behind, though, in P5. So we'll see if Johansson could get himself involved into this. As Dennis Groff now chasing down Will Parrish. He's going to try and get another position here for himself, as he's going to go to the inside line through Brooklands. They're side by side, and as Groff is going to have the less superior outside line, but he still tries to hang it on the outside line, then dips a wheel into the gravel, and that is going to allow Will Parrish to hold the position for the time being. So Groff stays where it is. Groffin's going to be chasing him through. Maggots and Beckers trying to get another opportunity at chasing down the AlphaTauri driver, the Red Bull sister car, mind you. And he is going to go to the inside line of Will Parrish, and they are side by side now, as getting very close to contact. Dennis is going to have to be a bit more careful here, as he's going to go to the inside line then of Will Parrish. Isn't able to make it stick, though. Parrish gets a poor exit. He's going to try the switchback. Oh, watch out, Dennis, as he goes over the curb. And it's only slowed him down a tiny bit. Thank goodness. But yeah, Dennis Groff is going to have to recuperate now and focus on getting past Parrish as cleanly as possible. He doesn't need to take risks here. He really doesn't, considering the situation Red Bull are in now. And it is turning into quite the disaster for Red Bull here. Dennis Groff heading into Brooklands, doesn't quite try it. You see Alex Broster in the background as well, as Groff is struggling to get past Parrish. Broster could try and catch up to re-overtake Dennis Groff, quite possibly, as we're now at the halfway point of the British Grand Prix. And what an unusual British Grand Prix it has been, certainly. As Groff chases down Parrish, then heading into Maggots now. You can see how close they are. And I think Dennis will be frustrated with the fact that that the AlphaTauri of all cars is putting up resistance. But no team orders in the Red Bull camp, I do suppose. As Dennis Groff is now going to go to the inside line of Will Parrish. He's now going to be able to properly try it into Stowe on the inside line there. Parrish puts up a bit of resistance on the outside line there, but heading into Vale then, he's gonna be able to try then as Parrish goes over the curb a bit, and finally he is past then Dennis Groff going up into P9. Good stuff then, as Parrish actually got a good run out of the final corner there, but it's not enough to be able to make a move. Either way, Dennis Groff nicks 2 points for himself then. Good stuff from the world champion. As I've got a bit of news then, if we look at the front, or we look at the top two, Laban Zasnishkai, as the gap was about 1.7 seconds before, the gap has gone down to 1 second, so Laban might actually be gaining on Shuto here, and he could be potentially within reach of the race lead in the following couple of laps. Things stay as they are. Wojtek Kulasek, who has been pushing to try and get past Enes Parachki in his last few laps, the gap has increased by a bit. So yeah, Kulasek just using the DRS to drag him along, but we could have a DRS train forming behind Parachki here, as Jesper Johansson is now catching up there in 5th. So we'll see what Johansson is going to be able to do then. So we go a bit further down the grid, or the field, I should say. Alexander Arnold now chasing down home hero Daniel Fraser for P14. Arnold now with the DRS heading out of Chapel. He is going to go up and alongside the Haas driver then. So they're on the inside, very close, but Fraser holds it on the outside line. Beautiful defense from Daniel Fraser. But is it going to be enough for Alexander Arnold to punch his way past? No! Fraser holds it. Good stuff from Daniel Fraser. Even if it is only for P14, he defends his position valiantly. Good stuff from Daniel Fraser. And Alexander Arnold will not be too happy about that. He will be wanting to get back on Fraser then. Arnold then in the DRS. Will it be round 2 between these two guys heading into Brooklands? No, not yet for Alexander Arnold. He's just going to have to bide his time and be patient here if he wants to get past Daniel Fraser. And, well, newsflash for you guys. Labas Zasnishkai is officially within a second of Josef Fredrik Schutel now, so Zasnishkai will have the DRS to pull him closer, and he is lapping faster. You can see there on that previous lap, he's lapped 3/10 faster than Josef Fredrik Schuto. So Laban is gaining, and we'll see then if this is going to work for Laban Zasnishkai this time. Schuto now is going to have to start worrying about defense. Zasnishkai chasing him down. With Kulasek as well, a bit further down the field now, trying to get onto the last step of the podium. Wojtek Kulasek, who in all of his years of Formula 1 has never tasted the champagne of the podium. He is getting very, very close then through Maggots and Beckett. Then you can see how close the Alpine driver gets. He's in a bit of a Mercedes sandwich though at the moment, as Jesper Johansson is there in the background to potentially try and back up his teammate or championship rival, I guess you could say. Obviously, Kulasek in fourth will be wanting that, to get past, but obviously then it also brings in the question of penalties. Ennis was involved in his fair share of accidents over these laps, so you can't really know if it is his fault or if it isn't. So yeah, maybe we don't know if the race is gonna finish like this. If it does, either way, Wojtek Kulasek will try to make his best effort to get past Ennis Parashki. So now looking at Alexander Arnold. Is he going to be able to get past Daniel Fraser? Having a look on the inside line through Stowe corner there. Arnold isn't able to quite do it, but he's going to go to the inside line of Daniel Fraser, trying to make the move stick. Here's Wojtek Kulasek then down the inside through Brooklands. Isn't able to make it stick though, and he is going to have to stay behind, but he runs wide, and here comes Jesper Johansson then. He is going to go to the inside line of Wojtek Kulasek, but Kulasek is able to keep it wheel to wheel with the outside for at least a tiny bit, but unfortunately he isn't able to do anything there, and as a result Jesper Johansson remains in fourth, or goes up into fourth. Give me a second. Hello, sorry about that, as we're now seeing Dennis Groff trying to make his way past the other AlphaTauri then. He's already caught up to Eric Adelberg, and he is trying to get past him as they make contact, as Groff spins Adelberg round, And that was not nice from Dennis Groff, I have to say that. Eric Adelberg's can try to make his way back on the circuit, but he seems a bit rather confused on where he is. And I think he's out. I think he's beached it in the gravel. And I think that is going to be Eric Adelberg out of the British Grand Prix. And that was naughty from Dennis Groff, I'm going to have to say so. That was rather naughty from Dennis Groff. And I think Eric Adelberg is out. Massive shame for Adelberg, but he adds on to the list of DNFers, which is quite the shame. Vojta Kulasek still in the chase for this 4th place, as Johansson seems to be struggling a bit to try and catch up to Parachki. Never thought I'd be saying an Alpine being faster than both Mercedes, but here we are. Going back to this battle for P13 then, which has been going on for a few laps now. Arnold still hunting down Daniel Fraser for 13th. He is gonna try and go to the inside line into Stowe. Isn't able to go up alongside them. Here though is Laban Zasnishkai. The battle for the race lead in full swing then, ladies and gentlemen, as Josef Frederick Schuto will now be tested on all of his defensive might against Laban Zasnishkai. I have to say, this is going to be a battle for the ages. As there is, I think, Fraser getting past. Did something happen to Alexander Arnold? Why is he down in 15th? We're going to see what happened to Alexander Arnold. And this is into Vale then. Goes to the inside line of Daniel Fraser. Tries to pull off the switchback here and... oh, over the curb, and that just unsettles the car. And luckily he's able to get back on track there. But unfortunately, Tomas Mandic just slips past. Either way then, battle for the race lead then. In full swing, Laban Zasnishkai versus Josef Frederick Schuto. Ferrari versus McLaren for the race lead here. Both of these drivers chasing down their first ever wins in Formula 1. But only one will come out on top. Here at Silverstone we have 9 laps to go. And any one of these two could come out victorious. So yeah, we have quite an exciting predicament, I guess that is to say the least. And yeah, so make sure to not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because we have an absolute thriller on our hands here. Laban Zasnishkai out of left field then. 4/10 is the gap that separates the two at the moment. It's just going to have to hope to absolutely nail these corners. Well, not Kops, but Maggots and Beckett. To try and close up on Schuto as much as possible. Obviously, the dirty air will impact it through the corners, but he's going to try to do his best to close in. .4 of a second is the gap. DRS is going to be able to close in a bit, but yeah, Laban is not close enough. Zasnishkai needs to be able to get about a 10th or 2 closer if he wants a chance at making the overtake for the race lead. Hello to everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Yes, you are witnessing a McLaren fighting a Ferrari for the race lead. it is, I have to say, nothing short of fantastic to see this unfold. As Nishkai then heading out at entry 3, tenses the gap. DRS, he is closing in on Josef Frederick Schuto, but still just not close enough to do anything here. I think at the moment he's just gonna have to hope to pressure Schuto into a mistake or something, but I have to say Josef Frederick Schuto has been cool as ice the entirety of this race. He's held off Enes Parachki, he's held off Lamas Osnishkai. Well, we can't say that yet. There's still 7 laps to go. Anything can change in these 7 laps. So we head through Maggots and Beckett once again then. This is turning out to be exciting. And Josef Frederick Schuto, I think the best thing he's just going to have to hope for here is that Zasnishkai wears out his tires a lot behind him. Because at the moment, if things obviously stay like this, Schuto will be able to hold the race lead easily. So he's just going to have to hope Zasnishkai pushes to the point where he just wears out his tires and he has to back off for a bit, especially these last few laps, and then he'll be able to cruise home for the victory. Let's now look at Zasnishkai's teammate, Tomas Mandic. He is now chasing down Daniel Fraser for 13th. So we'll see if the Ferrari man's going to be able to get past Fraser for P13. Through Magus and Beckett, you can see he's getting very close. He should be within a very, very good chance of trying it. With the DRS, then he's immediately going to go up alongside Daniel Fraser, then and into turn number 1, or turn number 1. What am I saying? Sorry, into Stowe, which definitely isn't turn number 1. He will get past for P13. That's up another position for Tomas Mandic, but still, it is a race to forget for Tomas Mandic. As we go back to this battle for 4th position then, between Kurlasek and Johansson. If Parashki is to be penalized, this could be the battle for net 3rd in this race. So we'll just see what is going to happen here. But Parashki at the moment about 2.5 seconds ahead of these guys. So yeah, Ennis is just going to have to hope to build up a gap in case of a penalty. As we go back to the race lead, then Lamas Nishkai still in hot pursuit then of Josef Frederick Schuto. Nishkai, I think, will be feeling a bit frustrated. He's just going to have to find a little bit more pace if he wants to get past Josef Frederick Schuto, and at the moment it just isn't there for him. Through Maggots and Beckett's then isn't really gaining much. In fact, he is losing time through Maggots and Beckett's. So it seems that Schuto has the upper hand through the corners. And Laban at the moment is just having to remain behind, I do suppose. We'll get to see their difference in lap times then as they're just about to cross the line. As they now round club then and do go across the line. And yeah, Shuto is actually lapping faster than Laban Zasnishkai on that previous lap. Either way then, we go back to the battle for 4th then, between Kulasek and Jesper Johansson. And Wojtek Kulasek, I think it maybe just is the fact that Johansson is in better machinery, that he isn't really able to keep it. What was I going to say? That isn't able to properly take advantage of the situation, I do suppose. Wojtek Kulasek then getting within 3/10 just about of Johansson. He's just going to have to hope to keep this gap and capitalize on it, but obviously when it comes to dirty air and following other cars, it is really difficult to do. So Kulasek is just going to have to hope for a miracle, I do suppose, here, if he wants a shot at being able to contend for or to get past Jesper Johansson. So we now go a bit further down the field. Here's Dennis Graf chasing down Kai Chereshnia. And Graf is going to try to get it here on Chereshnia. Heading into Brooklands. He isn't quite close enough. But yeah, the Aston Martin in P7 as well. He is doing fantastically at the moment. Dennis Graf then looking to make a move on Kai Chereshnia here. He tried to go on the inside line there through Maggots, that was. Actually ran wide as he was trying to follow Chereshnia, so that's not done him any wonders really. But he is still going to try it now, as he's going to have the DRS on Chereshnia. It's going to go to the outside line of Stowe. As we now head into the corner, Graf round the outside line, and Chereshnia can't really fight back. And Dennis Graf gets up another position. Good recovery from Dennis Graf so far, I have to say. He is doing well for himself in what has been a very bad race for Red Bull. So we now go back to the race lead. It's lap 28 out of 30. Laban Zasnishkai running out of time here. At the British GP. It's going to be Shuto or it's going to be Zasnishkai, and that is going to be decided in these last few laps. So Laban is the time is really running out for him, so I think it's safe to say it's now or never for him. And he is just trying to close in and through Maggots and Beckett's. Trying to get as close as possible then on Josef Frederick Schuto. 4/10 of a second. It's not close enough for Zasnishkai. It isn't yet, so he's just going to have to stay behind and wait for an opportunity, but you don't know when that opportunity is going to arise or if it even is going to arise. So Laban will just have to drive the tires off that car in these last two laps, because if you wait behind too much, then you might just squander the opportunity. So now then, heading through the loop and Aintree. It's gonna have another. It's gonna be another DRS straight for Labas as Nishkai won't be able to get close enough to Shuto, so he's gonna have to stay behind then. And Josef Frederik Shuto will definitely feel the Serbian breathing down his neck, but yeah, at the moment he's going to have to stay behind. So Shuto just has to drive as calmly as possible. Let's hear Adelberg and Arnold making contact. Eric Adelberg trying to get past the Williams driver, and at the moment just isn't able to. As Nishkai chasing him down through Beckett and into Chapel. 4/10 the gap between the two. And once again, not close enough. Here then is a battle that we haven't really focused on. This is the battle for P10 between Alex Broster and Luca Farina. Could have the Williams in the points, or we could have Farina try and secure another point here for himself. So we'll see what's going to happen then as we now start the final lap of the race. And now it is now or never for Laban Zasnishkai, as he will chase down Josef Frederik Shuto. And now then, Zasnishkai, the question is then, will he be able to get close enough to Josef Frederik Shuto? I don't think he will, but we'll just have to wait and see then. Late on the brakes, through Brooklands, and then through Luffield. Josef Frederik Shuto has only got 2 sectors to go. He's got 2 sectors to hold off Laban Zasnishkai here at Silverstone, and Laban is piling on the pressure here, certainly. Could be Scuderia Ferrari's first win in 2 seasons, or it could be McLaren's first ever race win in the ACOC. We'll just have to wait and see what is going to happen here then, as the gap is under 4/10 then. Zasnishkai with the DRS. This is his last chance to try and make something here. Is he going to try and go to the inside line? No, it isn't. Laban, I don't think he's going to be able to do it, and I think he's only got a few corners to go. It is an absolutely legendary moment for him and his team. He will see the checker flag first. Josef Frederik Shuto wins the British Grand Prix for him and McLaren. He is a race winner after 5 seasons in Formula 1. McLaren and Shuto taste the top step of the podium. Wow, what an incredible race. He has coped brilliantly in all these 30 laps. Shuto has held off Zasnishkai. He's held off Parachki to take a memorable home win for McLaren, and his first ever race win in the ACOC. Laban Zasnishkai will come home a brilliant second as well. A bittersweet second, I am sure of it. But nonetheless, a fantastic performance from the pair of them. Alex Broster's just able to hold off Luca Farina for 10th then. And there is the final man across the line, and now we can breathe out. Wow, what a British Grand Prix! Oh my goodness! And Josef Frederik Shuto, what a win for him as well. To say that it's just a simple win from pole position does not do it justice, I have to say. But yeah, Josef Frederik Shuto brings McLaren their first ever race win in the ACOC. What a moment for him and his team. And Laban Zasnishkai carries on the podium streak, finishing 2nd here at Silverstone. It was a great race from Laban as well, but it just was not meant to be for him today. Enis Parachki finishes 3rd. with Jesper Johansson finishing fourth behind his teammate, and then Wojtek Kulasek was a brilliant drive from him as well in P5. Lewis McIntyre will finish in P6 with Dennis Graf a lowly 7th, not how his day would have gone according to him. Kai Shereshnia finishes 8th, his first point of the season, so congratulations to Kai Shereshnia, with Will Parrish finishing 9th. Alex Broster will take 10th as he rounds out the top 10 with Luca Farina close 11th. Then it is Victor Albom finishing in 12th with Thomas Mandic, a race to forget for him today as he finishes 13th. Daniel Fraser in 14th with Eric Adelberg finishing P15. And then Alexander Arnold is the last of the finishers. And your non-finishers are Alfred Klaus, Fernando Tost, Franco Gamba, and then Daniel Wale. And that has been it then for a very, very hectic British Grand Prix. And I don't even know who I want to give the driver of the day to here today. There's so many people I want to give it to, but honestly, I just want to give it to Josef Frederick Schuto. That was an incredible bit of defensive performance as well. Kept his cool through all those 30 laps and was able to hold off Laban Zasnishkai and Enis Parachki. And basically everyone in between. So he did very, very well for himself. So he gets my driver of the day. But that has been it then for the ACOC. Thanks so much for watching this very, very hectic British Grand Prix. Next up, round 7 of the championship at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So make sure to not miss that. We've also got Super Formula on whenever. That's going to be on at Mandalika. So make sure to not miss that. Either way, I have been Miran. Thanks so much for watching the ACOC, and we will see you when the ACOC returns for Super Formula. Thank you, and good.